So it turns out that my prediction video is right about the main event. It turns out that Dominic Reyes was in fact able to make Carlos Urberg look like a exciting fighter. He looked fun. He looked exciting, and I'll get into what I mean by that once we get to the main event today in this recap for UFC Fight Night Perth, Australia. Listen, this was a good card. I thought, especially the main event. The prelims were kind of dull, to be honest, but the main event was the main card was pretty good. Six finishes tonight on this fight night event. Performance of the night went to Carlos Ulberg, Jimmy Crute, Tom Nolan, and Brando Pericic. We're gonna jump right into it. We are going to start with the first fight on the prelims: Loma Lookboonme versus Elisha Thainara. So Elisha won this fight by unanimous decision. She landed 5 takedowns in this fight. She was a stronger fighter. I did get this right. I started the night 1-0. Listen, round one, Lookboonme was landing some nice, kicks, body kicks. She had some fast kicks, and she put that on display throughout the fight. Step in elbows, head kicks. She had a slick head kick. Didn't do too much damage, but it was a slick, quick head kick that got right up there. Elisha dropped her with the elbow, a step in elbow in the first round. Elisha was able to take her down twice, landed some hard 12-6 elbows, just some straight right to her forehead. Very, very, very strong looking woman, butch looking woman, very strong. Round two, much of the same. Elisha just takes her down, lands ground and pound. Lookboonme did get back up. She did show ability to get back up to her feet and land some more body kicks and stuff like that. But for the most part, Elisha was just, much stronger than her. Third round comes, much of the same. Uh, just Elisha just looking much stronger, landing ground and pound, and was able to win this fight by unanimous decision. I was 1-0 to start the night. On to the next one. Brando Pericic versus Elisha Ellison. I was 2-0 to start the night. Brando Pericic did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He got a KO victory. He did beat Elisha Ellison. Basically, I mean, he moves well. He's big. He's 6'4", 265. He's pretty quick. He has a nice long rangy jab that he used to keep Elisha at bay. Elisha couldn't get near him. I mean, he was teeping him. He was using that long jab, and he eventually caught Elisha with the overhand right, dropped him, put him away badly. I mean, he was out for a while actually. So, Brando Pericic, he did get the performance of the night for his performance. It was a round one KO styled on Elisha. Listen, I think that Brando could be a problem. I mean, he moves very, very well. He moves incredibly well for his size. He has fast hands, and he's a big boy. He's 6'4", gigantic, 265. Should be able to move like that, but he does. On to the next one, Michelle Montague. Now listen, versus Luana Carolina. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am a fan favorite. Michelle Montague, you are very attractive, very, very, very attractive. You have a nice body. You are also very good at fighting. So she won this fight by unanimous decision. So I am started tonight 3-0. Round one. Luana Carolina actually looked really good on the feet. She looked fast. She was clearly the better striker in this fight. Clearly, it wasn't even close. She sliced open Michelle Montague with that slicing elbow. But Montague was able to get her down, get into mount over and over and over again in the fight, and just pound her face in. I mean, she was threatening arm bars. She was threatening rear naked chokes. Actually, Luana threatened arm bar in the first round. But that was after she was getting brutalized by ground and pound. Second round, same thing happened. I mean, same thing. They started on the feet. Luana looked good until she didn't. Montague took her down, got mount position, rained down elbows, got her back. I mean, it was just rinse and repeat throughout most of the fight. Um, Something happened in this fight that was controversial. Um, Maybe it wasn't this fight. It probably wasn't this fight, but yeah, it wasn't this fight. I think it was another fight. But either way, Michelle Montague, she came out and just dominated, start to finish. I mean, she did get cracked a few times. She was bleeding. Michelle, Luana Carolina did make it interesting at times, but Michelle just was more dominant, and just the wrestling was too much. I did say in my prediction video, once she gets you down, she keeps you down, and she did that. So it's very heavy on top. So I started in at 3-0. Colby Thicknesse versus Josias Musasa. So Colby Thicknesse won a unanimous decision. And listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. The first round, it was Josiah came out and he was cracking Colby Thicknesse, cracked him early, cracked him often. Colby gets the fight to the ground and is just complete domination. Gets him into mount. He's in like a very, very high mount position. Josias Musasa has no idea how to get out from this position. He's not twisting. He's not turning. He's not hip escaping. He's not trying to just contort his body out of the position that he's in. He's accepting the position and just trying to hug Colby Thicknesse. And Colby Thicknesse is throwing down punches on top, raining down punches over and over. And I mean, the fact that he couldn't finish the fight with the way he was throwing down punches and elbows just goes to show the type of power Colby Thicknesse does not have. But he doesn't have any power. The second round, though, Josias Musasa he starts stuffing takedowns. He's stuffing these takedowns and he's beating the shit out of Colby Thicknesse, bloodying up Colby Thicknesse's face. The third round comes, much of the same is happening. He's beating the shit out of Colby Thicknesse, and then Colby Thicknesse hits him in the dick. Now, see, this is the problem. If that doesn't happen, I believe Josias Musasa, because Colby Thicknesse was slowing down. He was tired, he was tired, and he got a 5-minute break because he kicked Josias Musasa in the penis. It was a nut shot, okay? You need to take a point for that, man. Take a point away because you're now giving a guy time to rest. He gets back up, he gets a takedown, and he does the same thing he did in the first round, and he beats up Josias Musasa on the ground and finishes the fight with ground and pound. That is a clear, that altered the fight severely. I believe that Josias Musasa should have won this fight, and I should be 4-0 on the night, but instead I'm 3-1. So on to the next. We got Jamie Mullarkey versus Rolando Bedoya. I lost this one as well. I'm 3-2 on the night now. Jamie Mullarkey won a unanimous decision. He looked very good. He looked in the first round, he got him down. He was threatening rear naked chokes. He had control. Second round starts. Jamie Mullarkey is landing better shots than Rolando Bedoya, who's barely throwing anything. I mean, he's garbage, man. And I really should have thought. I did think about it. I did say in my prediction video that Jamie Mullarkey, there's a potential for him to win. I just couldn't pick him because of how he looked in his last couple fights. But even in this fight, he was getting cracked. He was leaking. His nose is broken again. Because in the third round, Bedoya came out and was piecing him up badly. He came out much more aggressive. He was just landing jabs, 1-2s right down the middle. Mullarkey's leaking out of his nose. So, he was able to survive. Mullarkey won the first 2 rounds, so he got a unanimous decision victory here. He did win the first 2 rounds very clearly, in my opinion, as well. Bedoya picked it up too late, and even when Bedoya picked it up, he should have went for the kill a little bit more. He was just kind of content on landing that jab and just kind of eking out a decision, trying to I don't know what he was trying to do. He didn't have the sense of urgency that I think he needed to have because he was hurting Mullarkey, and I think that if he would have pressed a little bit harder, he could have finished him. On to the next, Cam Rowston. Now, Cam Rowston versus Andre Petroski. Cam Rowston got a TKO victory. I am now 4-2 on the night. Cam Rowston is very impressive. The guy has power. He has a 78-inch reach, and it is very, very long for the division. He's 6'3". He was towering over Andre Petroski. Andre Petroski was chopping his limbs early, landing some hard leg kicks, but Cam checked one really good, hurt Andre Petroski, and he starts landing body kicks. He starts using his range. And he lands a left hook that hurt. It was a counter too, actually, and just dropped Andre Petroski and just beat the dog shit. I think he dropped him with a body kick too. I mean, the guy is rangy. He has long arms. He has power. He's gonna be a problem for the middleweight division, man. He's gonna be a real problem for that division, and I think that I do think that he has a high ceiling, man. He did lose to Torres Finney, but Torres Finney just spams in takedowns and really doesn't do anything on the way of damage. So I think if that fight were to run back, I think Cam with his increasing ability would probably finish Torres Finney. So Cam Rowston is very, very impressive. I'm gonna say he's a physical specimen. Long arms, very, very long arms. 1 second, I do have to check something to make sure I didn't give wrong information here on Mifizone. So I said that yes, I was right. I'm not gonna tell you what I thought I was wrong about, because then I'll look like a casual, and I can't do that. So yeah, no, Cam Rowston's very, very impressive looking, man, and I do think he has a bright, bright future. He's going to be a problem in that division. He's very, very rangy, very, very good for that division. On to the next one, Navajo Sterling versus Rodolfo Bellato. Now I asked for this Navajo. By the way, the Cam Rowston fight, I was now 4-2. Navajo Sterling does get the unanimous decision versus Rodolfo Bellato, so I am now 5-2. And I've been asking for this. In my prediction video, I said I've yet to see Navajo Sterling look impressive. And his first 2 fights in his career, he just didn't look very impressive, Tuco Tokus and I think Ivan Ersling, I think like that was his other fight. Decision victories. Now this was a decision too, but I mean he was peppering Rodolfo Bellato's body. He was landing some hard shots, some push kicks. I mean Bellato came out in the first round aggressive, pushing forward, but Navajo was using those push kicks to keep him at bay. Navajo was landing some punch combinations to the body. He was ripping to the body. Rodolfo Bellato was making it dirty, getting there's some dirty boxing off, but for the most part, Navajo was able to escape the clinch work and just start piecing him up. I mean, the whole fight, he was just landing, nice elbows. I mean, in the second round, I think it was the first round that Navajo got the takedown and was landing some ground and pound. Yeah. No, it was the second round. So the second round, Navajo gets to take down and land some ground and pound. Pretty dominant win there. Round for Navajo. The third round comes out. Both guys are cracking each other. Both guys are noticeably tired, slowed down a little bit. Both guys have pushed the pace in this fight, so it's understandable that they both were tired. They were trading the pocket. And Navajo looked good the first 2 rounds. He wasn't able to get a knockout, and I'm still waiting for him to have some sort of highlight reel finish. But he did look much more impressive. He did look much more dominant in this fight than he did in his first 2 fights, in my opinion. So, win for Navajo. I'm now 5-2 on the night. Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. I am now 5-3 because Tom Nolan knocks TKOs Charlie Campbell in the first round. Very impressive win by Tom Nolan. He was throwing kicks, staying rangy. Now, Charlie Campbell did hurt him, dropped him badly, bad in the first round. This fight ended in the first round as well, so I don't even need to say in the first round, but I'm going to say in the first round because Charlie Campbell was pressing him, dropped him, hurt him. Caught him with the left hand when he dropped him. But, Nolan was scrappy. He survived. And it was clear that Nolan was trying to take the fight to the ground. He's a superior jiu-jitsu artist, submission artist, so he was trying to get the fight to the ground. Charlie Campbell was trying to keep the fight standing after that. And it's just Charlie Campbell was throwing some, again, or Tom Nolan was throwing in some nice combinations. He was keeping rangy, even though Charlie Campbell was pressing the action. But yeah, Charlie Campbell, I think he landed a spinning back kick that hurt him badly. I mean, both guys were clipping each other. The fight was very exciting, The fight was very, very exciting. But Nolan did eventually clip Charlie Campbell and sit him down. I forgot what the punch was that he landed, but he clipped him, sit him down, and he gets his back. And like I said before earlier, that Tom Nolan was the superior submission artist, and he showed that. Rear naked chokes him and finishes him in the first round. I am now 5-3 on the night. On to the next one, Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. This fight was crazy. This fight was crazy, because Jake Matthews, the fight starts with Neil Magny using his range pretty well. Jake's But Jake, gets on the inside, starts landing body shots, and he gets Neil Magny down. He's in dominant positions. He's in a guillotine. He's in a high guillotine, and guillotine mount. He's in a high mount. He eventually, Neil Magny eventually scrambles. Somewhat of a reversal. Jake Matthews gets a guillotine, and it basically relaxes his body to survive the round. And the ref thinks that he's out, so the ref steps in to kind of like call it off. But then Neil Magny's like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" Immediately protesting, and the ref just basically covers himself by saying, "Never mind, it's just the round was off." So he was stepping in to say the round was off. Yeah. So Jake Matthews looked very dominant, early. The second round, Jake Matthews was pressuring again. He gets the back. He was threatening rear naked chokes. He gets a mounted triangle. But Neil Magny's game on the ground, is a good ability to stay composed. He has the veteran. He's more the veteran, so he knew how to survive some of those positions that he was in. I mean, he was in literally a mounted triangle. Where it looked like Jake Matthews was about to attack an arm or something like that, but but Neil just kind of positioned his body to avoid getting finished. And he gets flattened out even. He's just controlled the entire second round pretty much. The third round starts, Neil Magny starts pressing because he could sense Jake Matthews is losing some steam. It even got a little controversial where he was caught into another guillotine when he took Jake Matthews down, but he reversed it. He scrambled out, got back up. How did this go? Yeah, so he reverses. He like throws his body on the other side of. He does like a front flip over Jake Matthews. And starts threatening a darce, multiple attempts at a darce, and eventually just darces Jake Matthews out and gets a submission victory. This is a great from behind victory for Neil Magny. Very, very impressive. Showed his veteran status, and he's now he's won his last two. Listen, Neil Magny is the middleweight GOAT. Okay, we can say what we want. He's the GOAT of middleweight. He's better than Anderson Silva. He's better than Hamza Chimaev. He's better than Drakus. He's better than Robert. He's better than them all. Okay? He has the most win in middleweight history. That's something to say, okay? So, yeah. At 39, Neil Magny has won 2 fights in a row. This is big. This is impressive. And I do like where his career is going right now. Very, very impressive win for Neil Magny. I was actually hyped for that one because it was such a comeback from behind victory, and I did. So with that fight, I am now 6-3 on the night. So boys kind of cooking, except for this fight. Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Tavares. I got this wrong. Jack Jenkins wins a unanimous decision. Jack Jenkins, and I called it out too. In my prediction video, I said that Jack Jenkins has some very, very hard kicks. I mean, he landed a head kick on he was landing body kicks, and Tavares missed weight too as well, so that makes the win more impressive for Jack Jenkins. Yeah, the thing is, the kicks that he was throwing to the body and to the head, Ramon Tavares was blocking them with his forearms, and I mean, you could just tell the damage was getting done. Jack Jenkins kicks very hard, so when his kicks were landing on the forearms of Ramon Tavares, it was hurting him badly. Jack Jenkins was letting his hands go, landing uppercuts. Tavares picked it up at the end of the round, first round a little bit, but he didn't do anything, to be honest. The second round came. Tavares was pressing forward, but he groin shotted Jack Jenkins. Jack Jenkins gets back up, lands another vicious head kick. Tavares is working a jab a little bit. Jack Jenkins, gets a trip takedown. He got a couple takedowns in this fight. Tavares was able to get back up. Jack Jenkins lands a hard knee. Jenkins shoots again. He gets another trip takedown. So he's just wearing on Ramon Tavares at this point. The third round comes. He's eating Tavares up with leg kicks. He's shooting again. He gets another trip takedown. I think they only credit him for 2 takedowns in the second round, but I thought I credited him with 2 because it was clearly a takedown. He was just wearing him out, man. Tavares was surviving the scrambles, survived the rear naked choke. Somehow ends up on top. Tavares is like in the guard of Jenkins, landing mini elbows, but Jenkins reverses and finishes the round with a ground and pound. So he finishes the round strong, and good win for Jack Jenkins. I no longer will doubt him. That was a very good win. Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Urslan. I am 7-4 after this fight. Jimmy Crute gets a submission victory, as I called it. Round 1, Urslan was landing some bombs early. He was hurting Crute, but Crute ducked under one of his overhands, got the takedown, started chain wrestling, and he gets a rear naked choke, finishes Ivan Urslan in the first round, the main event of the evening. So, remember when I said that I asked if Dominic Reyes was going to make Carlos Ulberg look like an exciting fighter? And he did, because Dominic Reyes got knocked the fuck out in the first round. I made in 4 on the night. Okay? Now, even though I picked Carlos Ulberg to win, I did not want him to win. I wanted Dominic Reyes to win because his story is much cooler. He beat down John Jones, but they robbed him. Then he loses 3 in a row. And now he's on a resurgence, wins 3 in a row, and now he's fighting to get back in that title picture, and he does not because he gets slept out cold. Carlos Ulberg looked very, very fast in this fight. I'm going to be honest with you, man. He seems to be improving. He looked fast. He looked calculated. He looked measured. The distance management. You know what I mean? The footwork to stay at bay. I mean, Dominic Reyes had no idea how to even get close to even land a punch on him. He had no idea how to even get close enough to land a punch. You understand? So, the footwork on Ulberg is amazing, man. Footwork was amazing. The feints. Dominic Reyes bit on every feint. He was terrified. Dominic Reyes clearly did not want to get hit by Carlos Ulberg. He clearly did not want to get hit. Carlos Ulberg was faster. He hit harder. Well, I guess we wouldn't know because Dominic Reyes didn't throw a freaking punch. I wonder how many punches he threw. Let me look real quick. How many punches did Dominic Reyes throw in this fight? Because I don't think it was many. I don't think he threw... I mean, it looked like he didn't throw any punches at all. So now I know these stats are wrong, but it says he threw 5 punches. And probably... And it didn't say punches, it said strikes. So I'm assuming all of those were kicks. I don't remember him throwing 1 punch. This is going to be an interesting... the speed of Ulberg, I can see giving Pereira problems. Like how the speed of Ankalaev is giving Pereira problems. Also, the countering ability of Ulberg, I can see combined with the speed being problems for Ankalaev. I don't think he would beat Ankalaev. I think Ankalaev has too many weapons. I mean, he can always grapple. He can always... he's very fast as well, so I don't know that Carlos Ulberg is faster than him. But Carlos Ulberg is very fast, man. Quick hands. But Dominic Reyes didn't do anything to challenge him. I know Dominic Reyes has 0 chin, and I said this. This is one of the things I said. I said this is going to be a boring decision, or Dominic Reyes was going to get chinned, because Dominic Reyes has 0 chin. Got chinned by Ryan Spann. Got chinned by Erie. You know what I'm saying? He's been chinned in his last... in that 3-fight losing streak that he was on. So... his chin is weak, So this, in my opinion, is not really a good. This is the fight that Carlos should have won, in my opinion. The story of Dominic Reyes' resurgence was cool, but we knew it wasn't really gonna happen, right? So I just thought that Carlos Ulberg did what he was supposed to do in this fight. This is why I picked him to win. I do think that he faces a much more lethal threat in in a Alex Pereira or a Magomed Ankalaev. Even though I do think that the speed of Carlos Ulberg would give those guys problems. Maybe not Ankalaev, but you saw the power scared Carlos Ulberg versus Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz, right? So he clearly did wanted no part of that power. And Blachowicz is a slower guy. So I think that, the power Pereira would keep having him on his back foot as well, on his bike. But Pereira has amazing footwork to cut the cage off. This fight is going to tell me, this fight coming next week between Pereira and Ankalaev is going to tell me a lot. It's going to answer a lot of questions about this Carlos Ulberg fight. If Pereira can make the adjustments that I think he can, the body, using more body kicks. Listen, you can't. That jab to the body was not working against Ankalaev. You're not fast enough to do it against Ankalaev. But if you use that body kick that you landed every single time you threw it versus Ankalaev, Pereira, that could be where you mix it up. We were used to seeing Pereira go to the legs, to the body, and up top. He threw maybe 11 shots to the head versus Ankalaev. I don't even think he threw any body shots, maybe a couple body shots, because it was the speed that had him off kilt. But I do think that if he throws that body kick, there's where you get the body shots and to slow Ankalaev down a little bit. Either way, though, Carlos Ulberg looked very, very impressive. Good performance. He's won 9 in a row now. Clear number one title contender, in my opinion. And even if if Yuri goes out there and does something impressive versus Khalil Roundtree, or if Khalil Roundtree does something impressive versus Yuri, and Ankalaev wins, right? Then I can see a potential, like they would have to like flatline each other, one of the other, for them to get the title versus Chop versus the Ankalaev. If it's versus Pereira, I think Ulberg would get it automatically because both Khalil Roundtree and Yuri Prochazka have fought Pereira before, but neither one of those two have fought Ankalaev. So it just a lot of things need to happen, I think, before we see a clear cut next challenger for the belt. Yeah, but this is very impressive. This is what Ulberg needed to do. He won in fashion, right? A KO, first round at that, versus a dangerous guy, right? He needed to win with style points, and he did that. And I do think that because of that, you're going to see him step in to a title shot. Unless Ankalaev wins and, Yuri kicks, or Roundtree kicks Yuri's head right through the cage or something like that, into the octagon, into the audience, or Yuri like back elbows Roundtree out of the octagon. That's the only way I can see them taking the title shot from Ulberg at this point, because that was a very dominant victory for him. So, anyways, it's your boy, the MMA Mechanic. Please like, comment, share, bell icon, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Until next time.